What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. Matt here, and this week I am going to be counting down and going through what I think are the top 20 Broadway songs that hit you in the feels. So, a few disclaimers right at the beginning. I was inspired for the subject of the podcast this week from a Miss Mojo video, the top 10 angstiest Broadway songs. And so a few just disclaimers right off the bat. One, I'm no Emily from Miss Mojo. My voice is not soothing and buttery and sweet and poppy and fun. But I will also not be including clips of the songs themselves. This is a podcast after all, not just a list. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through the songs, letting you know the lines that grab me, that hook me, right? That's something you hear. Counselors, therapy. We love therapy here, right? That's something that you'll hear them say. The hook is usually something that grabs you and elicits a response, right? It can make you get heightened, boost those kind of endorphins. It can make you feel excited. It can make you feel sad. It can make you feel angry. And that's kind of what, when I say the songs that hit you in the feels, that's what I mean. It's not just going to be the sad songs that bring a tear to your eye, make you well up, make you sob. It's not going to be the ones that get you pumped up and psyched for the day and ready to go. It's not going to be the ones that make you mad, angry. It's going to be a mix of all of those. So that's what we're going to be diving into, the ones that make you feel something. Another disclaimer on here is I've talked about on the pod, if you've been following for a while, my kind of view and approach on these in musicals. I'm not classically trained. I'm not raised in the theater or a music theory expert or diving into what is all of the hidden meaning behind something. What I enjoy about musicals and what I enjoy about the songs on this list are there's something that elicit an emotional reaction in you and make you feel something. That's what I love about musicals, the story they tell, through lyrics, through music, and just the whole picture. So another thing is this, I said it's the top 20 songs, but it's not in any particular order. I'm just going to be going as a whole. It's too hard to nail down a number one. So I will be giving 20 songs. The first one that I list isn't number 20. The 20th one I list isn't going to be number one. I said that in the most confusing way possible. I don't know. But let's get into it. Another kind of disclaimer before we begin is I have been trying to record this episode for 3 hours tonight. I had tech issues to start with, super fun, and then just personal shit. Things happen. So I will be pouring a nice glass of whiskey here, and we're going to get started. So the first song that I have listed is Michael in the Bathroom from Be More Chill, as sung by George Salazar, particularly the performance from the Be More Chill press day that was posted on their YouTube 6 years ago. George Salazar's performance of this song is one of the most raw and emotional performances of a musical theater song, I think, that just instantly hooked me and just pulled on something in me. I think just how the song really captures his feelings of being alone and just the anxiety that plagues him and feeling abandoned from his friend. So the part where he's in the bathroom and it's going with the knock, 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 where he said they're going to start to shout soon. He feels like everyone's closing in. Everyone knows that he's locked himself in the bathroom by himself because he's just feeling alone and having basically a panic attack at the party. And just having them knocking, and he finally goes to open up the door, but he can't hear the knocking anymore because it's just the anxiety and that fear building up inside of him. I feel like is a very raw and emotional way to depict that in a song. And then at the end, his feelings, talking about just wishing he'd offed himself instead and wish he was never born, and just this feeling of kind of hopelessness through it, and then just leaving the party at the end. like I said, one of the songs that hooked me the quickest from a musical. I just found out about this musical and it just entered my life a few years ago, and became an instant favorite, an instant one that just resonated with me and I really enjoyed. So, first song of the night. Next up is going to be Who I'd Be from Shrek. Another one that is a recent addition and favorite, and I've talked about it here at length. I was introduced to this musical on the national tour, the kind of revamped national tour, a couple years ago, from Nicholas Hambrook's performance as Shrek, and it was fantastic, and I instantly fell in love with the song. And Brian Darcy James, Daniel Breaker, and Sutton Foster's version from the cast album has been on a loop and a common staple in my playlist ever since. I think the kind of line that stands out to me, which kind of repeats itself through it, but towards the end, just how Shrek, when he's singing, about just this ideal and this idyllic world and how it could be if everything went right for him and if he was a hero, and this experience he would have, and then just the kind of come down, and you hear it in his voice, when he's saying that's how it should be, a big, bright, beautiful world, but not for me. And just kind of that heartbreak and that emotion. Brian Darcy James and Nicholas Hambrook did fantastic jobs performing that, and so that song's just been one that's grabbed me and stuck with me ever since I've heard it, and it was my most listened to song last year. So cheers to Shrek and Who I'd Be. Cheers to Nicholas Hambrook, who just did a performance and a run doing Stranger Things, the Stranger Things parody. Fun fact. All right, next up is going to be a little bit more upbeat of a song. That is going to be Wait For It from Hamilton, as sung by Leslie Odom Jr. This, I think, is probably one of the most well-known and popular songs from Hamilton. My only complaint about it is that it's only 2 minutes long, or maybe it's just barely over 3 minutes. But this is a song that I wish was 5-6 minutes long. Leslie Odom Jr.'s voice is so beautiful. A song you see will inspire a lot of tattoos. I feel like I've seen a lot of I am inimitable, I am unoriginal, or I am the one thing in life I can control, which is something that I feel very strongly about. That at the end of the day, I can only be responsible for myself, control my actions, how I treat people, and how I feel about it. And I feel like the emotion in Leslie Odom Jr.'s voice as he's singing these lines is just so powerful and so good. But what really stands out to me and grabs me in this song is when he's singing about Hamilton, just how he feels like he gets away with everything and everything goes right for him. And then at the end where he's like, if there's a reason he seems to thrive when so few survive, then God damn it, I'm willing to wait for it. And when he gets to that point, he throws the goddamn it in there. He's getting so impassionate, and then goes into the chorus and just kind of the slower, the life doesn't discriminate, and just everything, and just the emotion that last chorus is sung with is so powerful, and gets me every time. So wait for it. Another one up there. Another one. Oh, I guess I should add this disclaimer at the beginning as well. I am, for this list, I said top 20 Broadway songs. I'm including like West End and off Broadway as well, not just strictly ones that were officially on Broadway. I am, however, in the top 20, not including anything from like a musical TV series or anything like that. So just heads up there, or concept albums, anything like that. It's something that's actually produced and performed either on Broadway, off Broadway, or on the West End. Next up is going to be Out There from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, they did the studio recording of this one, and I like the full version of, I don't think it was technically on Broadway, I think it was just off Broadway, but the recording of the musical, not just the movie. And the part when Quasimodo gets this song in general, it's been one that I think a lot of people my age, you grew up with this musical, and that song of just the longing from Quasimodo and just kind of being told by Frollo how ugly he is. No one will love him. He's so lucky to have Fro there to take care of him. It's a little bit of a gaslighting anthem, a little bit from Frollo. But what really grabs me in this is the part at the end of the song, and it's performed by on the album Patrick Page and Michael Arden. But when Quasimodo's just singing that out there where they all live unaware, and then just the emotion that he puts into the lyrics, the what I'd give, what I dared just to live one day out there. And just that feeling, I think also kind of evokes kind of some reflection on people just take for granted what we have, what we have going on in our life that can be positive, and everything around us, those who care, love, all the things that we take for granted every day, that to someone else, that can be their dream, and just live your life. And I don't know, it kind of evokes just feeling of gratitude with me. So it gets me. One of my favorites. I'm a big shower speaker guy. I will belt that one in the shower. I've got my musical fave sampler playlist, and I have the one that's like songs to make you feel something playlist, and that one's on there. Now, I'm going to bring it back down a little bit more and go with Words Fail from Dear Evan Hansen as performed by Ben Platt. Talked about it at length on here, reviewed the movie, Ben Platt's performance in the movie, fantastic vocal performance, looks off in it, throws you off. But you can't deny Ben Platt fantastically embodies this character. And this is a song, spoiler alert for Dear Evan Hansen, where after he comes clean that he made up the story and that him and Connor were never friends, and where he's kind of confessing to his Connor's family, and just saying that words fail for what he's done. But the lines was like, there's nothing I can say except sometimes you see all you ever wanted, sometimes you see everything you wished you had, and it's right there in front of you, and you want to believe it's true, so you make it true. I don't know, there's something about it that gets me every time. And like I said, even though Ben Platt looks off in the movie, his performance of this and the emotion and just kind of like sorrow and regret, and it's weird to say because he's kind of justifying his actions a little bit, but not really. He's taking responsibility. He's taking ownership for it. And you just see this kind of heartbreak and loneliness in him where he felt like he didn't have any other option. And this is what he needed to do. And it gets me. It gets me. All right. Next up, I don't even know how many we've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Good Natural Break. So that was 20 through 15. Again, not in any particular order. We've got 15 left here we're going to go through. Next up is going to be Louder Than Words from Tick, Tick, Boom, particularly the version from the movie as sung by Andrew Garfield, Joshua Henry, and Vanessa Hudgens. This is a musical that is near and dear to my heart. I fell in love with the music of this before a movie was even announced, when I fell in love with Rent, and then watched the documentary No Day But Today telling the story of Jonathan Larson's life, and they brought up this musical, and then I went and found like a cast album of the off-Broadway cast recording and started listening to that. And this song, it stood out to me then. 3090, this one, and Johnny Can't Decide, and then particularly when the movie came out, seeing just kind of it closing out the show with this. One of the things I have on my necklace, I have You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen, and I have Fear or Love from Tick, Tick, Boom, which isn't a direct lyric, but when they're talking about fear, actually, I guess it technically is a direct lyric. Fear or love, don't say the answer, but a line in the play where Michael tells Jonathan, he's like, are you letting yourself be led by fear or love? But this whole song is just so fantastic. We're thinking about like cages or wings, which do you prefer? Ask the birds, fear or love, baby. Don't say the answer. Actions speak louder than words. But there's a line in there when Joshua Henry is singing it. about why do we follow leaders who never lead? Why does it take catastrophe to start a revolution? If we're so free, tell me why. Tell me why so many people bleed. Just that line speaking to the kind of complacency and just going along and just, I love it. It's powerful. It gets me every time. Louder than words, tick, tick, boom. All right. Next up is going to be the I'll Cover You reprise from Rent, as sung by Jesse L. Martin and the ensemble. This is just a hauntingly beautiful song. Spoiler for Rent. After Angel dies and at his funeral, Collins is up there singing, kind of giving the eulogy, and it's just this overlay of I'll Cover You, and it just starts out just so slow and a cappella and just so emotional. And Jesse L. Martin is so damn good in this. And then it comes in where he's singing it so powerfully and heartbroken, intermixed with the 525,000 Seasons of Love is the actual name of the song, but the 525,600 minutes, the kind of rendition of it that the rest of the cast and the ensemble is singing. And it just the notes that he hits, and when he's singing, when you're worn out and tired and when your heart has expired, see, these I want to sing them, but for you all's sake, I will not sing the lyrics as I'm saying them. But it is so good. It gets me. It gets me every time. And one thing I will say on this, I'm not cutting snippets of the song in here. One, because I don't know how to best do that for you, and I have limited time to do this. But two, I want you guys to go out and listen to these and experience them for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it. And I feel like so many of these, you need the build throughout the song. And yeah, it helps if you have the context of the musical itself and the build of the show itself. But just a line here and there isn't going to do it. You need to listen to the whole thing. You have to get the full experience. Okay. Next up is going to be Past Is Catching Up to Me from the Great Gatsby musical, sung by Jeremy Jordan. This is one that's kind of Gatsby's big number before his last party. And I'm a huge Jeremy Jordan fan. If you've been watching or listening to the pod for a while, you know this. His voice is just so fantastic. One of my favorites. If I could have someone's voice and be able to perform, it would probably be Jeremy Jordan's. I am very jealous of his talent and range. But in this song, when he's singing like that, it took no time to love her, just to be worthy of her. And though the years have passed us by, when memory survives, if she could see it too, but see it through my eyes, and then goes into the chorus, and then there's a line where it's like, take her back to that kiss. And I want to sing it poorly so bad, but I won't. And just the notes he hits, it gets me every time. It's not like a heartbreak one. It's a little bit. It's a song of longing and something that he's lost, but just the hope of experiencing it again and just the passion and that emotion is something really cool to see and hear performed. So, next is going to be a new one for me, like relatively new, like 2 weeks old in my rotation. And that's going to be Answer 36 from 36 Questions, as sung by Jesse Shelton. So if you're not familiar with 36 Questions, it is a musical, an original musical with Jesse Shelton and Jonathan Groff, only two performers in it. It is actually a podcast. So there are 3 acts in the podcast, and it's all told through the voice recorder of the main character, is played by Jesse Shelton, as she's going through these 36 questions to kind of, I forget the whole name of it, but it's supposed to be a scientific thing that says with these 36 questions, you can determine and help fall in love with someone. And she's trying to make up with her husband, who she had been lying to about who she is for years. A very unique and interesting concept. And it has a lot of really great original music, and Jonathan Groff, fantastic as always, and Jesse Shelton. This song is the opening song of Act 3, but really the close of Act 2 and the opening of Act 3 is what really grabs me and the highlights of this musical for me. Act 2 closes with Jonathan Groff singing a song Reality, which is another one of my favorites from it. But then Act 3, there's some dialogue before it, but then it opens up with the song Answer 36, which is after, spoiler alert for it, he's left and she's leaving a message in the voice recorder for him to leave in the mailbox. About how she's recognizing that she just needs to move on and leave, and that's going to be what's best for her as much as it hurts. So a couple of lines that just really grab me, and the ones that really jump out and hook me in that are: no one wants to quit, no one wants to admit to themselves what's actually true. Kind of about how you just want to hold on to that love, and it's hard to see sometimes what's so plain to other people, or what's so obvious in front of you, or what you know you need to do that's best for you, because you're so wrapped up in not wanting to let go of those memories, those feelings, or hurt someone else. And then towards the very end of the song, it just goes, I'm leaving now, I'm putting one foot in front of the other now, I deserve to let you go and build a better version on my own somehow. And it's just, it'll get you every time. So that's why, even though it's only been on rotation a few weeks for me, it had to make my top 20. I feel like it is just so raw and emotional and beautiful. So here it is. And then next up is going to be an entry from what is probably my favorite musical right now, and that's going to be I've Been from Next to Normal, as sung by J. Robert Spencer from the original Broadway cast recording. Next to Normal is one I've talked about a few times on here. It is a very heavy musical, so it's definitely not for everyone. It deals with some very intense themes and deals with mental health in a very kind of open, honest, and real way of how it's not pretty and it's scary sometimes. And there's just very conflicted and imperfect people in this musical, right? And this song, minor spoiler alert for Next to Normal, takes place when her husband, Dan, why am I blanking if it's Dan? It is Dan, is kind of cleaning up the aftermath of a self-harm episode from his wife. And he's just singing about these feelings that he's going through, and everything that he feels like he's been dealing with. And then he's like, and I've never had to face the world without her at my side. Now I'm strolling right beside her as the black hole opens wide. Mine is just a slower suicide. And then goes into a kind of rendition of the chorus. I've been here for the show, every high, every low, but it's the worst we've ever known. She's been hurt and how, but I can't give up now because I've never been alone. I can never be alone. And it gets me every single time. And I'm finally going to be seeing this performed live at my community theater is putting it on at the end of the month. And I'm not sure I'm ready for this musical live, but I am very excited about it. But this song just kind of, his hurt and everything he's dealing with, both seeing his wife get to that point and that level of pain and being helpless with her, but it's driving him crazy. There's a song early on in it called Who's Crazy where he's just really struggling. And then this one at the end where kind of almost the kind of selfishness creeps through in this, where he's like, I can't give up now because he's never been alone. He could never be alone. Not just because of her, just that fear of being alone. It's powerful, and it is a strong one. Next up is going to be, so that was another 5. So we've 10 down, 10 to go in the top 20. Next up is going to be another one from Hamilton. It's going to be It's Quiet Uptown, as performed by Philippa Sue and Lin-Manuel Miranda. This is one that is just so emotional and sad, where it takes place in the show and what they're going through. And spoiler alert for Hamilton. I'm just going to do a blanket. There are some spoiler alerts for these musicals in here. So after son Philip has died from the duel, and him and his Alexander Hamilton, his wife Eliza, are on the outs because of his Reynolds pamphlet, where he just told everyone about having an affair with her, and they'd kind of been on the outs, but then dealing with losing their son, and then kind of leaving, and Hamilton taking a step away from the spotlight, which had been a constant issue in their marriage, and just him kind of taking a step back and spending time with his wife. But then the line where it's sung, she takes his hand, it's quiet uptown. Seeing this live, I think it was the first time that I've like teared up in at live theater in a musical like that, because the emotion on both in Lin-Manuel Miranda does a good job in it in the show, but every performance I've seen of this, Hamilton's the show I've seen live the most. I've seen it 3 times. Every Alexander Hamilton's performance of just the face and just kind of the sadness and grief and relief and a little bit of guilt when Eliza takes his hand, and then the ensemble sings forgiveness. Can you imagine then? It gets me. It gets me. So it's Quiet Uptown, had to make the list. Next up is going to be If I Didn't Believe in You from the Last 5 Years, as performed by Jeremy Jordan. Now, The Last 5 Years is one of my favorite musicals. Just going to be honest there. However, I do acknowledge that the character of Jamie, as played by Jeremy Jordan in the movie, not necessarily a great person. And this song kind of reflects a lot of that. This is a song kind of towards the end. So if you're not familiar with The Last 5 Years, it's on stage. It's basically 2 people. It's Jamie Wellerstein and Kathy Hyatt, I want to say is her last name. In the movie, it's played by Anna Kendrick. It plays Kathy, and Jeremy Jordan plays Jamie. But it's the stories of their relationship kind of intersecting. So when Kathy's singing, it's telling the story of their relationship from the end to the beginning. When Jamie's singing, it's telling the story from the beginning to the end. So it's going through all of this, and you're seeing their relationship. It's a very unique way to tell the story. But if you don't know what you're seeing and what you're getting into, it can be very confusing. So I have a mixed bag with people I recommend this musical to. I try to give the disclaimer, but it's still not for everyone, and I recognize that. But the kind of part in this at the end, which during this song is when Kathy, Jamie are fighting. It's getting closer towards the end of their relationship. Jamie, he's become a kind of hit author and got his own thing. He's got his own popularity. And Kathy is wanted to be a performer and just kind of getting hit down, doing community theater, doing tours, things like that. And just not thriving at the place in her career where she wants to be. I think from what's portrayed in the musical, there's a little bit of resentment from either side. And Jamie's kind of pulling away and thinking very selfishly. And he's lost kind of the spark and the focus on Kathy that he had at the beginning of their relationship. He's gotten a lot more self-focused in his interest. And this song, If I Didn't Believe in You, is him being a little bit gaslighty, basically, like him saying like, well, look at this. If I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't have loved you at all. Like, if I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't have done all these things for you. And he's just kind of almost rubbing in her face all these things he's done and why that is an obvious sign of how he cares for her and why he would do these things. Like, if I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't put myself through this. And how it's portrayed in the movie, I feel like is very powerful, and it makes it very relatable from both sides, because he's going at the kind of background of this song is has to go to a party for his book release. Kathy was going to go with him, doesn't want to. And so he goes into this song basically saying like, hey, if I didn't believe in you, we wouldn't even be having this fight. And she's just shutting down during this. She's just not saying anything, just pulling back within herself a little bit more. And then at the end, he's like, don't we get to be happy, Kathy? At some point down the line, don't we get to relax without some new tourists to push me yet further from you? And if I'm cheering on your side, Kathy, why can't you support mine? Why do I have to feel I've committed some felony doing what I always swore I would do? I don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to sink. But you know what I think? I think you'll be fine. Just hang on and you'll see. But don't make me wait till you do to be happy with you. Will you listen to me? And Jeremy Jordan delivers that with just like a yell and hitting the fireplace with it, which is emotional, and him being a little bit scary. But emotions are real. It happens in a fight, especially in a relationship with someone you love. And he's just getting sunk into it. And I think he is getting hooked a little bit by her just disengaging and not reacting and not giving in to him and acknowledging him. And he says, no one can give you courage. And this is when he starts getting like angry and just targeting and just a little mean-spirited. No one can give you courage. No one can thicken your skin. I will not fail so you can be comfortable, Kathy. I will not lose because you can't win. And just putting it on her. And basically, I think Simone feelings of guilt of his kind of reflecting back on her, and that resentment is coming through. And I feel like after that line is delivered, it just kind of sucks the air out of the room because he's realizing what he said. And then he tries to backpedal and pivot to their wedding and saying, I did all these things for you. But you can tell at that moment she's just done. And so this is one that just makes you feel like a little bit like a gut punch in it. But Jeremy Jordan's performance is so good. And I feel like the lyrics are something like it feels real. That's something that I appreciate about this musical, flaws and all. It's imperfect. They're definitely not great characters. Well, Kathy's pretty solid. She doesn't really do anything bad in this. Jamie, not necessarily a great character. But man, it just, it's so good. I love the last 5 years. Next up, On My Own from Les Miserables, as performed by Samantha Barks in the movie. And she also performed in the 25th anniversary concert. Just such a beautiful performance, and just kind of the song of unrequited love sung by Eponine, who's in love with Marius. And then at the end of it, in the movie, it's just beautifully done and shot in the rain. And she's singing this, and Samantha Barks has such a fantastic and beautiful voice. And you'll be able to see her in the pro shot of Frozen, the musical, later this year on Disney+. But just the lines from the end where she's like, I love him, but every day I'm learning. All my life, I've only been pretending. Without me, his world will go on turning, a world that's full of happiness that I have never known. Just had such a hard life. And just those feelings of longing, it gets me. I love that song. It's beautiful. Next is a little bit cheating because it is from a jukebox musical. It's from Jagged Little Pill, the Alanis Morissette musical. And that's going to be That I Would Be Good, as performed on the original Broadway cast album, sung by Antonio Cipriano, Celia Rose Gooding, and Lauren Patton. Antonio Cipriano, I was first introduced to him from the recording album, The Samples of In the Light, A Faustian Tale by Michael Mott. And I've loved Antonio Cipriano ever since. I check out all the performances he does. He's got a number of good ones with Renee Rapp on YouTube that they performed at like 54 Below, and just kind of recordings together and rehearsals. Really good. But in this song, it's the Alanis Morissette song, and where it takes place in the musical is just kind of heartbreaking. The musical on its own, kind of similar to Next to Normal, kind of a bit of a downer and a very heavy musical, but really good and fantastic music. And then at the end of the song, when you have the line, I need to know that I would be loved even when I am my true self, that I would be good even when I am overwhelmed. Just that feeling of longing to be accepted and being overwhelmed, and just still be, just the song itself is beautiful, powerful, one of my favorites, and on my In the Feels playlist. Next up, and I've lost count, so I don't know where we're at. We're getting closer towards the end. But next up is going to be the All I Ask of You reprise from Phantom of the Opera. Now, originally sung by Sarah Brightman, Steve Barton, and Michael Crawford. Michael Crawford is the Phantom, and it's fantastic and it's beautiful. But I gotta be honest, the version I go to for this is the movie version with Gerard Butler as the Phantom. And before you come at me with pitchforks, the reason for that is because the emotion and the heartbreak that Gerard Butler portrays as the Phantom in the "You Will Curse the Day You Did Not Do All That the Phantom Asked of You," him just screaming it from the rooftop. Is it beautiful? And well, it's hauntingly beautiful a little bit, but is it vocally perfect? Not even a little bit. Gerard Butler, not the strongest singer, but his acting chops and his just kind of anger and emotion that he portrays in it, I really enjoy in this song. And that emotion at that moment does it for me and just chills. So all I ask of you, Reprise from Phantom. Next up is going to be another one from Next to Normal. I do have a few musical repeats in here, but I'm going to be honest. Like I said, this is also, I can't remember if I give this disclaimer at the beginning. This is a completely subjective list. This is going to be kind of tainted by what musicals I enjoy, the type of music in musicals I enjoy, what gets me going, and I'm always transparent about that on here, but this is not a definitive list. I know you all will have much different lists, and put them in the comments, by the way. Do it. But next up is going to be I Am the One from Next to Normal, sung by J. Robert Spencer, Aaron Fiat, and Alice Ripley in it. And this is kind of the duel between when we discover, spoiler alert, I give the blanket spoiler alert, you're fine, that Diana has been fantasizing and kind of visualing and picturing their dead son, Gabe, and who's played by Aaron Fiat. And so she's having the dueling of her husband Dan singing at her and Gabe singing at her. They are, but the lines is Dan is, "Are you bleeding? Are you bruised? Are you broken? Does it help you to know? Well, so am I. Tell me what to do. Tell me who to be so I can see what you see." Now, this in the last 5 years, we have imperfect men, right? I would say that last 5 years, Jamie is a little more maliciously and a little bit more the bad guy than Dan in this. But this is, he's taking that moment where he's saying that his wife's broken, and he's trying to relate to her and let her see that I'm struggling too. It's not just you. Not the time and place, buddy. Obviously not going to help, though. But he's just trying to kind of reflect it back a little bit. Like, does it help you to know? I am too. Like, you may not see it. I'm acting strong. I'm trying to help you through this and do everything you can. But I'm hurting. I'm bleeding too. And then eventually he's like, I am the one who holds you. I am the one who will stay. I am the one who won't walk away. I'm the one who heal you. And now you tell me that I don't give a damn. You just don't know who I am. He's getting defensive. He's feeling attacked. Like she doesn't recognize all that he does and what he's trying to do and how he's trying to be there for her. And it's just a very emotional song and fantastic and powerful performances. One of my favorites. Why Next to Normal is one of my favorite ones out there. Just, it is such a raw and emotional musical and taps into these real feelings people have and these real emotions. It doesn't have a shiny sheen on it. It doesn't try to make it too pretty. No, it is going to be raw, unfiltered, and I really appreciate it. Next up is going to be El Tango de Roxanne from Moulin Rouge, specifically Aaron Fiat's performance. That's what made me revisit the Moulin Rouge musical. Seeing the snippet of Aaron Fiat singing "The Why Does My Heart Cry," feelings I can't fight, you're free to leave me, but just don't deceive me, and please believe me when I say I love you. And the notes he hits and the belt he hits, and it is beautiful. It sends chills down my spine every time. Go watch that clip of him singing it. They don't have video of the full thing. You can listen to it on the album, but the video of him singing it live is so just, it grabs you. All right. Oh, and that must have been like the 17th one. I've got 3 more for the 20, and then I've got a nice little honorable mentions list here. Next up is going to be She Used to Be Mine from Waitress, sung by Sarah Bareilles and written by Sarah Bareilles originally, but another controversy potentially. The one that really gets me every time is the miscast theater version with Jeremy Jordan singing it. Talked about it here on length. Big fan of Jeremy Jordan and his voice. But just the emotion he brings into this, it's a little bit of a different take. Obviously, he's not tapping into the kind of feelings of Jenna as much as Sarah Bareilles can because of just the nature of the song. But man, when he's delivering the lines, "You're not what I asked for." If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two for the girl that I knew who's reckless just enough, who gets hurt, but who learns how to toughen up when she's bruised and gets used by a man who can't love, and then she'll get stuck. I think why I gravitate towards Jeremy Jordan's performance of it, he sings it with, this sound weird to say, Sarah Bareilles and Jenna performing it on stage is singing it with more just a little bit of a longing heartbreak for what's been lost. And when Jeremy Jordan is performing it, to me, it comes across with a lot more fight, if that makes sense. And I just love his voice. I think he has a beautiful voice. So She Used to Be Mine up there. Final two that I have is next another Rent one, Goodbye Love, kind of sung by the whole main cast. And the full version of this song is what really gets me. The movie has a shortened version of it, but that's why, as we've talked about in here, I believe Pro Shots, the original Broadway staging and everything, reigns supreme. But the part in here that gets me isn't Roger and Mimi or the couples fighting in the graveyard, but it's Mark and Roger going back and forth. Just these friends that are just having a little bit of a fallout because of, and just getting hurtful. And they've been dealing with this loss, and then Roger's leaving. And then Roger just turns to Mark and says that Mark hides in his work from facing your failure, facing your loneliness, facing the fact you live a lie. And he's like, yes, you live a lie. I'll tell you why. Because you're always preaching not to be numb when that's how you thrive. You pretend to create and observe when you really detach from feeling alive. And then Mark hits back with, well, perhaps that's because I'm the one of us who survived. Because he's like the only one that's not suffering with AIDS currently. But just that emotion with this bond and the friendship, I think really shines through, and also in What You Own shortly after that, with those two singing kind of side by side, that duet throughout that song. But it gets me. I feel like just that emotion and that anger and the lashing out with a little bit of guilt in your own feeling and just feeling tired and just fighting. And I love it. It gets me in my feels, which is what this ranking is for. And next is going to be another Tick Tick Boom one, actually. And it's going to be Johnny Can't Decide, as performed by Andrew Garfield. And it also does have some Joshua Henry and Vanessa Hudgens in it. But when the line was like, Johnny sees that Susan's right, the ambition eats right through you. Michael doesn't see why Johnny holds so tight to the things that Johnny feels are true. In those lines where it just gets me. Like, this is a song. And Tick Tick Boom, I was talking to someone recently about just musicals in general. They said that Tick Tick Boom, there's just something that feels off and didn't do them for it. I get it. Tick Tick Boom is I feel like it's a very theater kid musical, right? Because it's mashing up this 3-person stage production, which is what Tick Tick Boom is, and Jonathan Larson's life to a little bit of a fictionalized version, but trying to tell that story. And I think Lin-Manuel Miranda actually does a fantastic job with it, like a great directorial, live action directorial debut from him. And the performance he gets out of Andrew Garfield, who just embodies Jonathan Larson so well. But just this kind of realization that Johnny's singing in the third person about how just his ambition is just driving him and causing him to push people away. And that Johnny just refused to let go of things. He just holds so tight to this kind of idea that he has in his head and where he needs to be. And it does it for me. So that's been 20 songs that I think just hit right in the feels, hit me right in the feels specifically, because I'm the one doing the rating. So if you made it this far, congratulations. And I want to know, 20 is a lot, but put your top 5. What are the top 5 Broadway songs that make you feel something? Put those in the comments. I'm going to fire through a few honorable mentions that are just on the edge of the list. One's going to be another Rent one. It's going to be Will I, that's sung by the ensemble. Just that moment in Life Support where they're all singing the Will I Lose My Dignity. It's a powerful song. One that is from a TV show, so it couldn't make the list, but The Love I Meant to Say from Smash Season 2, as performed by Jeremy Jordan. The moment in the show is heartbreaking, and the song itself is beautiful and haunting and heartbreaking, and highly recommend you check out Smash if you haven't, just for the brilliant music in it, especially Season 2. Some of the songs that Jeremy Jordan and Catherine McPhee sing are just so great and on my regular musical faves sampler playlist, which if people are ever interested, hit me up. I'll send it out. One Song Glory from Rent, sung by Adam Pascal, is up there. Good for You from Dear Evan Hansen might actually be my favorite song from Dear Evan Hansen. So it hurt me when they cut it out of the movie. Just the kind of anger in this song from Evan's mom, just kind of fighting back with the confrontation and the feelings. There's so many feelings in it, and it's so strong and so powerful. I love it. Another one from Next to Normal is going to be You Don't Know, sung by Alice Ripley. It's a song that leads into I Am the One, where Diana's just singing about when her husband is trying to comfort her. I'm going back and forth. Dan just doesn't seem right, but maybe that is right. Is trying to comfort her, and she's just trying to communicate her emotions and how it actually feels to her. The original You Don't Know is great, but man, the reprise in Act 2 hits different, and it is powerful. And that 1-2 punch of You Don't Know and the reprise are so good. The reprise of I Am the One also rivals the original one. It's a lot kind of a little more introspective and haunting, and it's towards the end, one of the very last songs in the play. Another one's going to be I'm Not That Girl from Wicked. We haven't. No, we did see it. It is an Act 1 of Wicked. Is it an Act 2 of Wicked? What the fuck is I'm Not That Girl in Wicked? I've listened to this cast album so much that I can't even remember what part of the musical it's in. But no, I think we see it in Act 1 or part 1 of the movie. Who knows? But I'm Not That Girl from Wicked is another one that I feel like is just so heartbreaking. Elphaba singing here. We got it in Act 1. I'm Not That Girl reprise is in Act 2. Duh. You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen. I've talked about on here as much. And like I said, it's the other lyric on my necklace. But just Evan on stage at Connor's Memorial, the Connor Project launch, essentially, and trying to give a voice to the feelings of loneliness and hopelessness that people may be feeling, and trying to help relate that, even though there's this stigma around it, that you're not alone. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. It's great. A random one, obscure one that I feel like there could be a lot of people who don't know is My Eyes from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, sung by Neil Patrick Harris and Felicia Day. This is a near perfect project, in my opinion. It's Nathan Fillion, Neil Patrick Harris, Felicia Day. It's got some other people you'll recognize. It was done by Joss Whedon back in the day, who I think now is canceled. I don't remember if he's fully problematic or people just said he was an asshole on Justice League and other things. But It was done during the writer's strike years and years ago. It's like 40 minutes long. It was done in 3 acts as like a vlog done by Dr. Horrible, played by Neil Patrick Harris. And the song that he's like, I cannot believe my eyes, how the world's filled with filth and lies. It's plain to see evil inside of me is on the rise. And then you've got Felicia Day, who's talking about rapture inside of her is on the rise. And just kind of the parallels and the different takes on it is beautiful, and I love it. And then finally, I got Totally Fucked from Spring Awakening, a song by Jonathan Groff and the ensemble. They're just talking about, yeah, you're fucked if you speak your mind, and you will. You're not going to hold back. You're going to speak your mind. And then the chorus, yeah, you're fucked all right, and all for spite. You can kiss your sorry ass goodbye. Totally fucked. Will they mess you up? Well, they're going to try. This is a more defiant anthem, and that kind of get you in the feels, get kind of psyched, like, whoo, let's fucking go. And I love it. So that's going to close out my honorable mentions. A nice way to just sneak another like 8 or 9 ones in there on you. All right, that's going to do it for the musical portion of this, essentially. We're going to close out this week's episode. Ended up being a long one. The Last of Us Season 2 premieres this coming Sunday, the 13th. I did with season 1. I've said that my plan is going to be when new episodes air, I will watch the episode. I will record a kind of recap, reaction, and release it that night as a bonus episode. So if you're actually here for the musicals and you're like, why the fuck are you reviewing a borderline zombie movie? 1, not zombies. 2, not a movie, a TV show. And 3, based on a fantastic video game. And so why wouldn't I? It is up to you. If you listen or watch the episode, you can feel free to skip it. I'll have it identified as a bonus episode and as what it is. So if The Last of Us isn't your thing, you don't have to enjoy it. However, unfortunately, this premiere night, I got tickets to a concert. So I will be at a concert until about 11 o'clock at night. And then we're going to see, as of right now, my plan is I'm going to come home from the concert, watch the episode, which I think they've said is over an hour long, watch the episode, record, edit, and publish it, and then try to get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep before I get up for work in the morning. Depending on how the concert and everything goes, I may be dead, and this may be not like actually dead, but like dead as in tired and beat. And so it may be a Monday release, which is really unfortunate for the season 2 premiere, but it is what it is. The plan for next week's episode is Brad and I are going to be reviewing Jesus Christ Superstar, the 1973 the 1973 movie version, but we'll also talk a little bit about the 2012 released West End 40th anniversary tour with Tim Minchin and Ben Forster in it, and Sporty Spice, Mary Magdalene in it. So we'll be talking about that next week, as long as there's no other issues or hiccups. We're planning on recording in the next day or so, so we should be good to go, but we will see. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you if you made it to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Apologies for some random rambling on there. Let me know, out of the ones that I said, what you think is your favorite song, and then let me know your top 5. One thing I know I have a blind spot is the more classic musicals, and I'm aware the vibe of those musicals isn't what just resonates with me right now. I am a lot bigger fan of the more modern musicals and modern sounding music. And so, yeah, I get there's not a ton of variety here. It is a very modern musical focused playlist, but hopefully you still enjoyed it. Hopefully you found some new songs to check out, and hopefully you love them. So thank you all for watching, listening. Don't forget to comment, follow, subscribe, share, like, all that fun stuff. I do see it. It does mean a lot to me. DM me on Instagram if you want to chat. I enjoy having conversations with people who are passionate about musicals. As weird as it sounds, I don't have a lot of musical lovers that I'm friends with in my everyday life. That's part of why I started just shouting into the void with this podcast with Rayleigh, an excuse to talk about it to other people who are passionate about it. That's why I go through the work and the effort to still record this podcast, because it is something I'm still passionate about and really care about. And nothing really makes me feel something quite like musicals and the music, and just they get me in the feels. So that's why I did this list this week. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, all that fun things. DM, let's have a conversation about musicals. I'm always down. So thank you all. Don't forget to go down once more. Later.